Hey, how's it going, guys? I wanted to make a video unscripted talking about Overwatch because anybody that follows me on Twitter should know that about a few days ago I had a pretty spicy take, which is up on the screen now, hopefully, um, concerning the PvE mode of Overwatch 2. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how my opinions changed because, good lord, it has changed. I think Overwatch 2 is not gonna die because of the PvE changes. The gameplay that's behind me actually is from today, so the game is very much alive and well. But I think the PvE getting essentially canceled is a very negative thing for this game. I think part of what drew a lot of people to Overwatch 2, myself included, was the promise of less PvP focus and more PvE focused gameplay, content, and even combat. The PvE stuff obviously would have had some changes to the PvP. Also, just the fact that they have essentially canceled their story mode is really depressing because a lot of people wanted the story mode and that sort of content from Overwatch 2, myself included. I really wanted there to be some sort of really fun PvE because I am not very much a PvP person. I don't like to play PvP games very often, aside from the occasional Overwatch 2 and Dead by Daylight. I'm more of a co-op PvE centered person. That's why I've been drawn to games like Left 4 Dead, Deep Rock Galactic, games like those. And that's kind of what we would have been seeing with Overwatch 2, but now, obviously, not so much. Do I think the PvE that we're getting is still going to be fun? I hope so. I honestly think that if it's like the events, but with more content and less of that sort of constantly being scripted sort of thing that the events were, I think it could be a fun game mode. I think they could really make it work, even though we're not getting the skill trees and everything that we were promised. I think there's still some potential to be had with the PvE. I think, my expectations for this game after launch and there constantly being no word of PvE have sort of been a little tempered, sort of been a little less hopeful than in 2019 when they announced it. So I think when they basically just said that they were scrapping it, the sort of jaded side of myself was just like, whatever, who cares? Who didn't see this coming? And I realized that that was sort of the wrong approach to take because a lot of people were still very hopeful. And as one of my friends pointed out, if they removed PvE entirely, they probably could have gotten slapped with some false advertising because honestly in the state of Overwatch 2 at the moment, it's just Overwatch 1.5. All they've really done is get rid of loot boxes and get rid of the ability to play with two people in the game, one person on each team. So ultimately, Overwatch 2 feels a lot like a downgrade because while you're not paying for the game, you do have to pay for the fucking progression system. And that is a vastly negative change to Overwatch as a whole. I remember a lot of my early Overwatch experiences were enjoying the gameplay loop and enjoying the loot box because it was, in a way, sort of a gotcha system in which you never knew what you were really getting out of it, but you got it at least for free unless you chose to pay for it. And I feel like the removal of that greatly negatively impacts player experience, and that's what Blizzard doesn't understand, the player experience. We've seen it time and time again with Blizzard games. Most recently, the Diablo series does not pay attention to player experience. They care about lining their fucking pockets. And that's exactly what they've done with Overwatch 2, and that's what they continue to do with Overwatch 2. progression is locked behind a fucking $10 battle pass with abhorrent skins, terrible quality rewards for $10 price point. People are spending more than $10 as well because it's an 80 level battle pass system in which you could pay, I believe, $1 per level. So that's an extra $80 on top of your $10 price point just to unlock everything, unless you're willing to just grind out this notoriously repetitive, tedious gameplay loop, which requires a lot of playing meta, playing characters that you don't really want to play just so you win and get more experience. Because nobody wants to lose and just get that base, very tiny amount of experience. You want to win, get more experience, you want to get your challenges done just to try to beat the battle pass. That way you feel like you got your money's worth. Which, by the way, you never fucking do, because the battle pass system is bad. It's just plain bad. The skins in the battle pass are significantly worse than the skins we got in Overwatch 1's life cycle. They're significantly less quality. They're significantly less in terms of what you get. They're kind of bland. They fit a general theme, but they all feel like they're just being pushed out at an increased rate. That way Blizzard can make more money off of you. As well as some of the skins that are tied to the theme of the battle pass being locked behind the shop. The ones that are actually high quality and the ones that are actually, like, you know, worth using, they're locked behind the shop paywall. Actually, right behind me is the mythical skin for Season 1, which, as you see, I'm switching it out for the Sentai skin, because I significantly like the Sentai skin more than that mythical skin. Because the mythical skin feels like it's rushed, less quality garbage that only has the gimmick of you being able to customize it very limitedly yourself. It's not worth grinding out the 80 levels or spending the $90 just to get that skin. None of the mythics have felt worth getting. Most recently, you know, with Season 3, I believe, it was the Kiriko Amaterasu skin, and it just wasn't that cool. In fact, none of the skins that have come out since Season 1, like since Overwatch 2 came out, have felt worth it. Other than for me, the Kamen Rider skin, because that felt like it had some creativity pushed into it. Every other skin that I've seen in the Battle Pass has never felt worth it more than one of the Overwatch 1 skins, in which I could pay possibly $20 to get that, or the $10 to get a few skins I'll never use. So, while I hate paying for cosmetics, why would I ever want to pay for a Battle Pass when I could just pay for a skin I want? The one skin I want versus 7 skins I'll never use, while it's still not a great, you know, deal on Blizzard's part, is personally what I would rather do. Again, this is really, really unscripted, so I am having a brain moment, but yeah, nothing in Overwatch 2 has ever felt worth it. It's never felt worth grinding over, playing the game over. It's just felt like a downgrade of Overwatch 1, and I feel like the PvE is just going to echo that same sentiment, with essentially the PvE gameplay loop being exactly what we've seen in the events. Scripted garbage that you'll want to play once, and you'll never touch again. And that's ultimately where I feel a lot of people's disappointment comes from. We're never going to touch the PvE again after the initial wave of hype. And then the new higher-ups at Blizzard will just kill it off again. And then we'll just see the event PvE come back. Or they'll continue to do what they're doing with Star Watch and make the event modes PvP. In which case, that's even more disappointing, because it's just a recycled map with a limited pool of heroes and some slight, very minor slight, PvE elements like turrets. with one team vastly winning out over the other because they have all of the good heroes, with no other way to beat them other than just gritting your teeth and playing till the end of the game and re-queuing. And that's ultimately what Blizzard wants. They want your time and money at the expense of a good player experience, because ultimately to you, as I fucked up again, ultimately you are nothing but a piggy bank to Blizzard to pay their wallets, to line their pockets and make money off of you. Again, we've seen the exact same thing with Diablo, and we're going to continue to see that with Overwatch. So, unfortunately, I think my time with Overwatch and my time streaming it is going to become a lot more limited because I'm not enjoying it nearly as much as I enjoyed Overwatch 1, and I think ultimately I will continue to enjoy Overwatch 2 less and less, to the point where I'll just ultimately uninstall it. So if you see me streaming Overwatch 2 less, that's kind of why. And I guess thank you for listening to my rant on Overwatch 2, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, and catch my streams live on Twitch. Okay, bye.